Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So tomorrow's pancake day and I have a very easy recipe for you, and it's the 1, 2, 3 recipe because it's the easiest one that I've found. It's not the big fluffy pancake recipe like the American pancakes, though it's more the traditional thin crepes, but it's so easy because it's only 3 ingredients and you can remember it because it's 100 grams of plain flour, 2 eggs and 300 mils of milk. That's the 1, 2, 3. It's the easiest one I've found, and then what you can do is play about with any additional ingredients that you add to it. If you were on the community page, you'll know that I did do one previously with chocolate chips, but I'm doing it again because I wasn't happy with how it turned out and I want to do it so you can clearly see how everything's looking. There was a little bit of an issue and I just felt that you couldn't properly see what I was doing. So it's an excuse for me to eat more pancakes, and this time I'm going to try a different extra ingredient. So you'll notice that the 1, 2, 3 pancake mix doesn't have any sugar in it. That's because that will give you your savoury pancake base. So if you wanted, you could add anything savoury into the mix or just make them as they are and then maybe put cheese into the middle, experiment with different ingredients. You could add something to the batter like herbs. You could also just make them plain and then make a cheese sauce, roll them all up, put them in a dish, cover them with the cheese sauce into the oven. That would be lovely too. If you just wanted to make them sweet but not add anything in particular other than sugar, I'd recommend just doing a tablespoon of castor sugar at a time into your batter and then just keep testing it a little bit. That way you'll know exactly when the sweetness is right for you. I'd rather do it in the Vitamix in the blender because it's so quick and easy, but you can easily just whisk up the batter yourself too, just get all those lumps out. And today what I thought we would use is chocolate orange fudge, and we're just going to put those little chunks into the pancake when we flipped it over just to give them a little bit of a warm through. I think that's a nice little touch. But I did see these today when I was shopping, and I thought that's actually a really good idea. You've probably got pancakes before where they've got something in them like chocolate buttons or Smarties. So you've even got things like these are the Munchies chocolate fudge brownie, little mini munchies. Can you imagine just putting them either into the batter or sprinkling them on top and just letting the residual heat just slightly melt them? So they still have their form, but they're just ever so slightly melted. So just a few ideas for your pancakes. But what we'll do now is just get the mix ready and I'll show you how easy it is. One more thing, this is actually quite a new frying pan. It's only a few months old. It's non-stick and I've only been using the plastic on it, and somehow just a few months in I've managed to get a scratch in it. Don't know how I did it, but I'm still going to use it because it is new, but I just thought I'd let you know that I'm raging that I've got a scratch in it and I don't know how I did it. Maybe it was a dishwasher, I don't know. Anyway, what we'll do now is we'll add the 2 eggs to the milk, and I'll try to not get any shell in. Right, success for the first one. Straighten them in. I'd love to be able to do it single-handed, but I can't. Well, I've not tried, to be fair. Right, that's that. Just quickly wash my hands. And now let's add in our flour. And then I will just give this a quick blast, possibly just 10 seconds. That's how quick the Vitamix is. And then we will be ready to go. Right, so that didn't take long at all. Honestly, 10 seconds in the Vitamix, it's so quick. But you're just working it until you get all the lumps out. Now, the pan's on a medium to high heat, but you'll judge it yourself. I'm just using spray oil, but you can use any oil that you like. In this particular spray oil, you just pump it up when you need to, just to get more air into it. It's quite normal with your first pancake for it not to behave the way you thought it would, so don't be worried if the first one doesn't really turn out. So many of us say that it's a random thing and then you get the feel for it. But you're really just looking for the bubbles to appear, and the thinner the pancake batter, the quicker that should be. And then you can also work out if your temperature's right. So again, if the first one looks a little bit pale or the opposite, maybe your temperature was a bit too high, don't worry about it. So can feel the heat there. I'll give this a go with the first one. And I'm going to go for quite small pancakes just to find my feet. and just see how we go. 2 different sizes of spatula, but I think I'll go for the standard one, see how we feel. So I can see bubbles starting to appear, and normally just around the rim is when you start to see the brown. Not always though, but again, you just find your feet with it and you soon get into the swing of things, and then before you know it, you're just making those pancakes and flipping them and moving them constantly. So this one, as you know, has got no sugar in it. So in theory, these would be my savoury pancakes, and I could just add some castor sugar. But what I'm going to do, as I said before, is bring the sweetness in from the little mini chocolate orange fudge pieces. That's where my sweetness will be. You could still add some sugar to the batter, but I think it's quite good if you can get yourself into the zone of not needing that extra sugar. And it's just, again, getting your taste buds adjusted to it. If you go from lots of sugar to none, that's really tricky. It's just finding that flow. So, see how we are here. I don't have lots of bubbles here. I'm just taking a look. Nope, still, I would say that's still quite pale underneath. And I can see more bubbles starting to appear now. Maybe as I get more confident, I might aim for a bigger pancake. But I like to start small just to find how it's going to go that day. I also think it can be quite good to, instead of sugar or instead of actually sprinkling on a topping, you could add some drinking chocolate. So you know, you get like your options, you get Galaxy, Malteser. They've already got the sweetness in them, so just stick some spoons or a couple of sachets in, and that could be quite handy. Let's have a wee... I'll flip this, but I don't know if it's ready yet. Ready, go. Bit pale, but on the right track. So you could add drinking chocolate because it's already sweetened. You could reduce the liquid and replace it maybe with something like Bailey's. But then you would just make sure that your liquid still balances out to your 300 mils. And the Bailey's is sweet too, so that would be quite a nice one, quite indulgent. But that's looking good, I'm quite happy with that. Because it's not the first time where your first pancake just hasn't worked and you've had to bin it, and then you have that thought, are they not going to work this time? Tend to find that the second side is much quicker though. So let's give it a wee flip. Yeah, see? So once I get into the swing of things, then before you know it, it'll just be browning. And you'll know the difference between the American pancakes and the more traditional flatter pancakes are that because they don't have a rising agent in them, because it's plain flour, you really do see that they're a thinner pancake and you get more of the brown. They're not an even brown, if that makes sense. Right, so let's go again. And this time what I'll do is pop some of the fudge. When I flip it over, I'll pop some of the fudge on the top. And you'll get to see how that is. Maybe I'll try a bigger one, but you all know the pressure when you try that. And who tries to flip pancakes now? I haven't tried to flip one for a long time. We can see our bubbles here. So it's just, you're just finding the flow, like I say. You're just figuring out how that particular pan, it's like your cooker, everyone's cooker is different. New frying pan, different results. Sometimes even just a new oil can make things a bit different. Right, let's see how we're going. Ah, there we go. See, we're into our flow. And what I'll do is just sprinkle some of the chocolate fudge chips. And what will happen is, I don't want these to melt. I just want to get residual heat moving through the pancake. And then what will happen is, they will just very gently start to warm up on top. And then when I'm stacking them on the plate, there'll be a little bit of heat there. So I am literally just giving them a moment in the pan. Move that, you're behaving badly. There we go. So I can already see that the heat's starting to get to them. But what I like to do is then roll them up. So when it's time to eat that, I'll roll it up and then the fudge will just be very gently melted. But again, just watch yourself, don't touch the hot pan, don't burn yourself, I'm careful here. And again, you just see they're all starting to melt ever so slightly. If I touch one and let you see, can you see how they're just starting to squidge down? Nice. So that'll just very gently melt in, but I'll do one final one. And what I'll do is I'll put the fudge on when the batter's still wet, and you can see the difference there. So just sprinkle some fudge into the batter, and this will be more of an obvious melting. Just try and get it even. If you're using something like fudge, it's got a little bit more stain power, but if you use chocolate chips, it's quicker. They just start melting, so your pan will get a little bit messy, but you can just wipe it down in between. And then what will happen is that'll just melt in. And I didn't actually spray that, but I should have, and I would have, but I think you can get away with missing out a spray, but if I was to do it again, non-stick, you do get away with it, but I would rather spray it again. So if I turn this round, I'm expecting to see, yeah, that's all melted in. So that'll be obviously a different texture. It'll be more melty, more fudgy. My preference is to have the little individual fudgy parts, but again, the choice is yours. But that's the 3 different ways that you can do it. So that's our easy pancakes, our 1, 2, 3. And I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you're going to be making pancakes this pancake day and what sort of flavours you'd be adding into them. I think I'm definitely more sweet if I've got the choice. And I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you again soon.